Look at this. This is a headline. You can tell. The dirty secret smart Democrats know but won't admit about Trump. That's quite a headline, isn't it? Who wrote it? I'll tell you. Former Clinton Pollster Doug Schoen, that man there who claims to be a Democrat. You better tell us.
The lamb, sir.
I know you are. What's the secret that you're talking about here?
Well, the secret is that Donald Trump has taken the Democratic base, and in the last election, he won 60–70% of white working-class voters. And you know what? That is the key to Democratic revitalization, and without it, no matter what happens with the Republicans in Washington, the Democrats will still be consigned to be a minority party.
As you know, Doug, there are 10 Senate Democrats up for re-election in 21 months from now. Are you saying that those 10 Senate Democrats had better get behind President Trump or they face a loss in 2018? Are you going that far?
No, I'm not going that far. I'm saying if they just join the resistance to Trump, it will hurt them. They've got to cooperate where possible, oppose where necessary, but be part of what I would underscore as the loyal opposition, Stuart, not people just in the streets. It isn't the 60s, after all.
Have you seen any sign yet of what I would call moderate Democrats, middle-of-the-road Democrats, people like you, Doug? Have you seen any sign yet that they're coming out of their long hibernation?
Not really. There's been some rhetoric from these 10 that they're going to cooperate with Trump. But that was a little earlier, and now with the resistance, they've been more and more hostile to the president and more oppositional. So it's a delicate balance for them, but I make the point that if they just oppose Stuart, we will get a very bad result as a party in 2018.
Do you have any inside track on the vote which will take place, I think, fairly soon, to run the DNC, the Democrat Party machinery? I know there are various candidates there, including Keith Ellison,
sure,
far left. Have you any idea who might win? Who are the front runners at the moment? Because that's very important for the party.
Yes, it is. It is, absolutely, Stuart. Keith Ellison, as you say, is one of the front runners. The other is Tom Perez, the former Labor Secretary under President Obama. I believe that the smart money is going to be on Keith Ellison still. He may not have on the first ballot a absolute majority, but I think he's the front runner because the organized activist left typically has been more powerful in the party, and Perez is more the institutional party of the supporters of President Obama, whereas the Elizabeth Warren faction and the Bernie Sanders faction are with Keith Ellison. And I should add Chuck Schumer as well with Keith Ellison.
Well, that is astonishing, but it's not good news for you guys, centrist Democrats. If Keith Ellison runs the party apparatus, I think you've got a problem. I think you'd agree with that.
Stuart, let me make news on this program. If Keith Ellison takes over the Democratic Party, I am one step further outside of the Democratic orbit, because his worldview and that of mainstream Democrats like me are completely at variance. So, Stuart, I see this as potentially calamitous for the Democrats and on a personal level for me.
You wouldn't ever become a Republican, would you?
You know, they're a bit too conservative, particularly on social issues, but I could be firmly an independent, drawing from both sides. And frankly, as we've said on this show, I believe we need a third party in America, and Keith Ellison will only hasten its development.
Well, Doug Schoen, you did indeed break news for us there, and we appreciate that. Doug, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Very interesting.
Thank you, Stuart. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.